Hey, it's Nicholas. Just a little quick video on Jupiter and Pisces. The ingress that happened on December 28th here. It's going to last about 6 months. We had a hint of this in the end of May into beginning of July. Um, and my viewpoint might be a little different than most. Um, not going to expound and talk about the most amazing positive things that are going to happen to the world and peace, love, and happiness and miracles. It's not going to be that. It's going to be a little bit of reality thing. And yeah, hope and faith is all involved in a transit like this. But I'm also going to give you some things to look out for that you should pay attention to so you don't get thrown off track. If you don't know where Pisces is in your chart, you can always hit contact info, my links there in the description, and get a hold of me. I can tell you where it is in your chart. But in general, on paper, Jupiter, this benevolent, huge planet that everything it touches makes bigger, wants to, slowly, by the way, it moves slow, is in the sign of Pisces, which is a water, mutable, feminine, receptive sign. And is mysterious too in its sense of what lies in water and the different functions of water and the different forms that it takes. Whether it's solid, it's ice, it's steam, it's cold or hot. But water permeates things and goes into things and becomes something else or can become part of something else. And so Pisces, in a sense, wants to be the big part of that sign has to do with integrating itself in the world is into this huge, bigger, transcendent, collective solidness. And there's many different ways of doing that. And I think that's an amazing thing. I think the other side of something like that is losing oneself and losing something because of nothing to hold or no container, no boundary, so on and so forth. Things that its opposite sign, Virgo, likes to bring in. It's the little things to keep things in order, the little to create systems for things to flow and not to be completely lost, spread out all over the place, which is a tendency for the Piscean energy to do. So with Jupiter being there and flowing there, there is this aspirational, higher, transcendent way of being or wanting to be, and the seeking out. And a lot of times with something like this comes the feeling of or wanting just completeness. And a lot of this comes from a base core place of love, which is everything. And but I also think there's you have to be real with something like that and not let it all spill over, and so what I'm getting to is there's a tendency here for overindulgence in this transit, and especially when we get towards April, when Jupiter is conjunct Neptune, and we got a whole plethora of other planets, Venus and Mars. They're all going to move through Pisces here. And so what I'm a little worried about is illusionary fantasy aspects where one could get lost and think something is real and get caught up into something that seems real but it's illusionary. And I think with Jupiter and Pisces, this is definitely on the table. Now, I'll be positive here and say the hope and faith thing for sure. This is going in within and connecting to whatever you consider is the divine, which I think is yourself, myself, God, goddess, godlike, all those words you want to use. This is a big part of this transit. And I think one could find themselves or discover other higher truths or philosophies that could help guide one's spiritual sense, or whatever word you want to use that's close to spiritual. And sometimes it's just your philosophy, your higher knowledge, and one could expand in this area and move and grow and that's a beautiful thing. I'm just wanting some tools and containers for oneself to bring in to help guide that, so it doesn't like happen with water, completely permeate into something else and over identify with something else, and in a sense loses the balance and one loses themselves. Now there's great ways to lose oneself that people do, like meditation, or they go work out, but really it's not losing oneself, it's finding oneself. But I'm worried about just, vices people have, the types of illusionary obsessions people have with things, thinking that it's real and completely throwing everything they have into that, and then it's not functional in the real world, and one can completely get sidetracked. Saying that, I think with Jupiter being in this sign, there is a uplifting forward energy or movement, and one could use that practically. I think this sign could fulfill itself, or fulfill that part of your chart. So listen, I think miracles do happen, lucky things do happen, but I think it's a small percentage of life. I think those things are where you're doing nothing and something happens to you and it's amazing. Most of the time, I'm a Jupiter Saturn person. I have strong Jupiter and I have strong Saturn in my chart. One can't live without the other. So, in a sense, I'm saying that one could find this lighted, pure something within oneself, or connect with it again, and have that elevation, that feeling of elevation and hope. And then it takes something else though after that. And I don't think as with anything in the world, you have to apply yourself, put yourself in a place of using it and actually physically manifesting it outside of you. Even though this transit's more of it's an internal process, I think, but with everything in astrology, I think one could use whatever type of transit. If it doesn't look good on paper or not, I think one could tweak and use. And I think the key word here is constantly adjusting with a transit like this, and checking in on oneself. I'm like, okay, what am I doing with this? I could put my vision within myself and into the world, but then I can't. Then you have to do something with it. And that's, for me, a more Saturn person comes in and like, okay, how can you apply this? What systems do you have in place? What little tools can you use to help you enact this vision, or that comes from compassion and love and hope and faith, and make it real? So I balance like a dream world and a real world, and I think one has to have a balance of those two worlds. So that's a quick video there. It's, I just want y'all to be careful with this. Not to get caught up in like a mass, guru stuff happens with this transit. Like people getting caught up in looking for a savior, or looking for something to save them. And what I'm telling you is, you are your own savior. You save yourself. Everything you're looking for, you can have reflected towards you and find some guidance from the outside world. But in the end, everything you're looking for is right in here. It's right inside you. It's there. And the way you do that, in that process, in your way of navigating it, this Jupiter and Pisces transit, that's what it's for. And specifically, wherever Pisces in your chart, then you can hone down the subject matter. And if you need to know where that is in your chart, just in the description, you got my contact info. Get a hold of me. So I just want you to yes, think positive, have hope. Everything comes from love and compassion. I'm a big believer of that. But also be real and find your tools that connects to your highest truth, that core language of who you are, and then apply it outside of you. If you like this video, you can always hit the subscribe button, hit the thumbs up button. If you have any comments or questions, put them down in the comments. I just did this one off the top of my head. I'll be doing more. There's a lot more to this Jupiter and Pisces transit in my mind. And for me, I'm just trying to be real with you. And at the same time, don't lose hope. It's always there. It's always there. It's all right in there. And if anything I said to you made a difference, came through you, and hit you there, then that's an example of what I'm talking about. I guess I'll see you in the next video. Peace.